Exactly 6 p.m. in Cairo. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's time for our news bulletin from Channel 2. I'm Hanan Al-Khouli, and we start right away with the headlines. President El-Sisi appreciated Spain's honorable positions towards the Palestinian cause as he continues an official visit to Madrid. Hamas says ready to free all hostages at once in Gaza truce phase 2. And Trump's Ukraine envoy Kilog arrives in Kiev for talks with Zelensky as Russian strikes hit Odessa. Welcome back, the news in full. As part of his current official visit to Spain, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Wednesday said he highly values the historical relations with Spain on both government and people level. In a speech at a luncheon held by Spanish King Felipe VI at the Royal Palace in Madrid, President el-Sisi said that he looks forward to joint work to implement all aspects of the strategic partnership with Spain, notably in economy, trade and investment. The president pointed out that the unprecedented crisis in the Middle East and honored historical Spanish positions in support of the Palestinian cause. President el-Sisi said that Egypt's committed to continue working with the Kingdom of Spain to reach just and permanent solutions to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. The president reiterated that full implementation of the Gaza ceasefire is required, together with the release of hostages and prisoners, the uninterrupted flow of humanitarian and relief materials into the enclave to face the unprecedented humanitarian crisis, as well as the immediate launch of reconstruction work in Gaza without displacing its population. For his part, King Felipe VI of Spain said that he appreciates Egypt's pivotal role in bringing peace in the Middle East region, asserting that Spain has identical vision with Egypt regarding a two-state solution. He held bilateral ties in various domains and said many Spanish companies are broadening their investments in Egypt. King Philip VI also said that Egypt is a strategic partner to Spain, adding that the two sides are working on enhancing ties. Earlier, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed a joint press conference with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and called on the international community to adopt a plan to rebuild war-torn Gaza without displacing Palestinians. The president said he talks with the Spanish Prime Minister and his talks with them tackle the future of the Palestinian cause, with the two sides stressing the significance of resuming peace talks and recognizing the Palestinian state according to the international law and the UN resolutions. The head of state held the Spanish courageous decision to recognize the Palestinian state and stressed the significance of the fulfillment of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. The president further praised the role played by UNRWA as one of the international organizations that work in the humanitarian sector in Gaza Strip and also the West Bank. President el-Sisi also held bilateral ties between Egypt and Spain, saying that they are based on mutual respect and cooperation. He reiterated that the two sides aim to increase Spanish investments in Egypt. For his part, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told the joint press conference with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi that Madrid fully agrees with Egypt in rejecting any relocation of Palestinians from their land and called for a two-state solution. Sanchez described President el-Sisi's visit as important, especially that it comes amid regional crisis hitting the Middle East region, notably the Palestinian Gaza enclave. The Spanish premier welcomed Egypt's efforts to settle Gaza crisis, including the upcoming Arab summit over Gaza on the 4th of March. Prior to the press conference, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi held bilateral talks with Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez that tackled the situation in Gaza. Also, President el-Sisi and PM and Prime Minister Sanchez witnessed the signing of the joint declaration over upgrading relations between Spain and Egypt to the strategic partnership level. Both sides also witnessed the signing of a number of memos of understanding and bilateral cooperation accords in various domains. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Migration and Egyptian expatriates Bad Abdelati asserted today that Egypt has developed a phased-in comprehensive vision to launch early reconstruction in Gaza. The top diplomat made these remarks as he made a phone call with the Bulgarian counterpart George Georgiev, saying that Egypt is looking forward to more support from the international community and the European Union. The phone call tackled enhancing bilateral cooperation in different fields, particularly on the economic, trade, and investment levels. And moving on to the latest developments on the West Bank or in the Middle East, as Hamas said that they are ready to free the prisoners and the hostages held in Gaza in signing swap during the next phase of the ongoing ceasefire agreement. Senior Hamas officials Tahir el-Nuno said that this step was meant to confirm our seriousness and complete readiness to move forward in resolving this issue, as well as to continue steps towards commenting and cementing the ceasefire and achieving a sustainable truce. Israel's foreign minister said on Tuesday that talks would begin this week on the second phase, which is expected to lay out a more permanent end to the war. The ceasefire agreement took effect on the 19th of January, despite accusations of violations on both sides. Meanwhile, Egypt News correspondent said a total of 7,000 aid trucks carrying 130,000 tons of different aid materials, including food and medical supplies and fuel, have entered the Gaza Strip through the Rafah border crossing since the truce in Gaza went into effect in 1 month ago. Moreover, a total of 680 Palestinian patients and wounded together with 1,850 attendees crossed into Egypt for treatment since then. Yesterday, heavy equipment started flowed into Gaza through the Rafah border crossing after mediation efforts by Egypt and Qatar, with the aim of carrying out preparations for the reconstruction of the enclave. And moving on to the West Bank, as by car and on foot, tons of thousands of Palestinians in recent weeks have fled Israeli aggression across the northern West Bank, and the largest displacement in the occupied territory since the 1967 war. Israeli announced an unprecedented campaign against the West Bank just 2 days after the ceasefire deal in Gaza, destructing infrastructure in Jenin and Tulkarm, as well as several other nearby towns and refugees camps. Director of West Bank Affairs for the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency UNRWA said that more than 40,100 Palestinians have fled their homes in the ongoing military operation, adding that Israeli destruction of infrastructure reached a point where the camps are becoming uninhabitable. Still ahead with the latest developments in the Middle East, as U.S. top diplomat Marco Rubio visited the United Arab Emirates on Wednesday for the final leg of his first Middle East tour after breaking through talks with Russian officials in Riyadh. After arriving in Abu Dhabi, the U.S. Secretary of State meets with United Arab Emirates President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and Foreign Minister Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Rubio Abi's visit to the United Arab Emirates comes ahead of a Friday summit in Saudi Arabia of the Six-State Gulf Cooperation Council, as well as Egypt and Jordan, in order to respond to the U.S. President Donald Trump's plan for post-war Gaza. In Saudi Arabia on Monday, Rubio met with the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, emphasizing the importance of an agreement and arrangement for the Gaza that contributes to regional security, according to a statement. Domestically, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli addressed a press conference following the weekly cabinet meeting, saying that the state attaches as a top priority to enhancing cooperation with African countries, adding that Egyptian companies are participating in development in the African continent. The Prime Minister also said that Egypt is working to draw up a comprehensive vision towards the reconstruction of Gaza, together with efforts to maintain the Gaza ceasefire deal and to increase the access of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip. The Prime Minister said that the state focuses on the two-state solution as the only way to achieve peace, or for achieving peace and stability in the region. Domestically, the Prime Minister presented current and future plans for the energy sector and also presented promising opportunities in this sector over the upcoming period. The meeting also reviewed President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's current official visit to Spain, which came within the framework of enhancing bilateral cooperation. Al-Azhar Grand Imam Dr. Ahmed Al-Taib attended the Intra-Islamic Dialogue Conference, which kicked off today in the Bahrain capital, Al-Manama. The gathering, which is attended by more than 400 prominent scholars and thinkers from across the globe, is held under the theme One Nation, One Shared Destiny. The conference aims at enhancing dialogue among Muslim countries through focusing on important issues, enhancing Islamic unity, and increasing cooperation among different ideologies. Moving on to the latest developments in Ukraine, as Kev Kellogg, the U.S. special envoy for Ukraine and Russia, arrived in Ukraine and arrived in Kiev today for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky and military commanders. Kellogg's trip came a day after U.S. President Donald Trump suggested that Kiev was to blame for the war, which enters its fourth year next week, and talks between top American and Russian diplomats in Saudi Arabia on the sideline of Ukraine and its European supporters. Meanwhile, Zelensky said that Russia launched a barrage of drones on Ukraine's southern city of Odessa, hitting energy infrastructure. He added also that the drone attack injured 4 people and caused widespread power cuts, interrupting heating supplies for 160,000 people. Well, by this, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of our news bulletin for now. Many thanks for watching. Thank you.